So listen. So in this last class, we have discussed about the concept related to the rules of interpretation. So these rules of interpretation broadly classified into two categories. One is the primary rules of interpretation. Another one is the secondary rules of interpretation. So primary rules of interpretation, generally mainly there is a four primary rules of interpretation. What are those four primary rules of interpretation? First of all, rule of literal interpretation. Next one is a rule of mischief, or it's also called as Heden's rule. Next one is the golden rule of interpretation. And last one is the harmonious construction, harmonious rule of interpretation. So these are the four important main primary rules of interpretation. So out of that primary rules of interpretation, we are discussed about already we are completed the rule of literal interpretation is completed, and also rule of mischief, Heden's rule also completed. So what is the rule of literal interpretation? Read the statute as it is. You can obtain the words, phrases, sentences, whatever the use. You can obtain normal, popular, general meaning, grammatical meaning you have to apply. Clear, sir? There is nothing but rule of literal interpretation. After that, sir, rule of mischief. So Heden's rule, whenever you can prepare the law, in that particular law, sir, in that particular law, whatever that, there is any loophole in that particular law, what is that loophole? What are the previous act is there? In that particular act, what is the loophole in that particular act? In that particular situation, how you can overcome the loophole? Okay, so how you can overcome, what are the reasons for making that particular decision? You have to identify the four stages after that rule of mischief, Heden's rule we are discussed. Out of that, one case law also we are discussed. In that particular case law, the street related, public places related, the prostitute related case law. Okay, so that is where discussed. Now, still we are left with the two famous rules. There is nothing but one is a golden rule of interpretation, another one is harmonious rule of interpretation. Today we are started with the concept. Okay, so today we have started with the concept called as harm. First of all, we have started with the concept is called as means harmonious rule of harmonious construction. Listen carefully. It's very important, very easy. Rule of harmonious construction. So, what is the rule of harmonious construction? Listen carefully, sir. So, whenever, so there is a conflict. There is a conflict between two or more statutes, and also there is a conflict. The conflict between two or more provisions, two or more provisions, two or more provisions in a particular statute. Then, whenever the conflict between the two or more statutes and the conflict between the two or more provisions in a particular statute, okay, sir. Then, at that point of situation, what means how you can construct, how you can interpretation of statutes. So, listen carefully. Whenever the conflict between the two or more statute, there is a basic maxim is there. What is the basic maximum? Generalia, specialibus, non-derogant. So Generalia specialibus non-derogant. It's then what is the meaning of that? General laws do not prevail over special laws. What is the meaning of this, sir? General laws do not prevail over special laws. Over special laws. So general laws do not prevail over special laws. That is called as means simple example. So you know about Companies Act 2013. So you know about the SEBI Act 1992. Sir, here, if you are a listed company, if you are an unlisted company, so if you are a listed company, you have to follow SEBI Act. Unlisted company, you have to follow Companies Act. Whenever General Act is there and Special Act is there, we are giving privileges to, we are giving more importance towards sir, Special Act only. So suppose Contract Act is there, sir. Contract Act is there and Sale of Goods Act is there. So sale of goods also is one type of contract or not? Then which is applicable? Contract Act is applicable or Sale of Goods Act is applicable? So general law and special law is there. Then you should give more importance to the special law, not a general law. Like whenever there is a conflict between the two or more statute, then you are giving more importance to the special statute, not to the general statute. And also the special things mean special things more important compared to general things. The two acts are there. Within the two acts, there is any conflict between the two acts, then at that point, the situation you have to give more importance to the special act, not to the general act. You're giving more importance to the special act, not to the general act. Clear as it? And also, it's a conflict between the two or more provisions in the same statute. Whenever the same statute, sir, we are giving conflict between the two or more provisions to the same statute at that point of situation, at that point of simple example, sir. At that point of situation, what is that? Simple example. Sir, you know about the Companies Act. Section 53, you know about that. Section 54, you know about that. What is Companies Act? Section 53 clearly says that prohibition of issue of shares at a discount. Section 54 clearly says that what happens, sir? Means you give a shares at a discount to the it means sweat equity shares to the existing directors and existing employees. So what section 53 of the act clearly says that so the issue of shares at discount is prohibited. Section 54 of the act clearly says that what happened, you can issue the shares at a discount to the employees and directors for their value additions. So the two provisions are there. The two provisions, there is a conflict between the two provisions at that point of situation. What's that? They give an effect to both the provisions. Give an effect to the both the provisions. Why? Because sir, you can 53 years issue of shares at prohibited, but there is only one exception. That is nothing but specific shares. Like the given rule of harmonious construction clearly says that whenever there is a conflict between the two or more statute, you can give an importance to the special statute over general statute. Whenever the conflict between the two or more provisions in a particular statute and give an effect to the both the provisions. Sir, how it will the harmonious construction, the decision given by court, sir. Decision given by court, not by the people. These type of harmony is happened, these type of conflicts are happened, then how you can prevail, how you can prevail, this is the decisions of the court. Court will give the decisions. Clear as it? Everyone is clear? Clear, I am not doubt in the harmonious construction. both with our material, what is their harmonious construction? Johnson, harmonious construction. The rule states that statute has to be read as a whole and interpretation consists with other provisions in the act should be adopted. Statute should be read as a whole and different provisions in the same act should be inconsistent with each other. Inconsistent with each other. Inconsistent with each other. Thus, interpretation which is inconsistent with other provisions of the act should be preferred. And effort should be made to reconcile different provisions of the same act. Duty of a court to avoid a real clash between the two sections. Who will decide? Court will decide. Interpretation should be harmonious not only with the other provisions of the same statute but with other laws also. There are the enactment two or more provisions that cannot be reconciled with each other. They should be interpreted wherever possible as give effect to all of them. This what is known as a rule of harmonious construction. The rule is not applied when the words have been clear and one meaning and alternative construction is possible. Clear, sir? The two or more statute, there is a conflict between the two or more statute. There is a conflict between the two or more provisions in the statute. Whenever two or more statute conflict, you can give a privilege, given preference to the special statute over general statute. Two or more provisions then give a privilege to both the provisions that can be decided by the court, not by the persons. This is the harmonious construction. Clear, sir? Everyone is clear harmonious construction? Clear harmonious construction? Next is, sir. So one of the famous case law related to the harmonious construction, what is that? What is harmony in that? Listen, sir. So listen. So UP, suppose one of the famous case law, Ishwari Sugars Mill Limited, Ishwari Sugars Limited, Sugar Mill Limited versus the state of Uttar Pradesh. What is the famous case law? Listen. So UP state government, sir, what is the UP state government? We will acquire sugar industries as per UP Sugars Undertaking Act 1971. So here what happens in that Uttar Pradesh government, whatever the sugar factories are there in that Uttar Pradesh government as per the, okay, so as per the law, UP Sugars Undertakings Acquisition Act 1971, they can acquire. Okay, sir, Ishwari. Okay, sir, they can acquire. But what's a Sugars Mill Limited? This Ishwari Sugars Limited contended that so sugars are controlled by mills are controlled by union under Industries Development Act 1951. Okay, so that is 19 like that. What's the sugar, sir? The state government, you are not having power. Why? Because this is a, you know what means a list, concurrent list, state list, union list, and concurrent list is there no. In case of Constitution of India, state has a power under entry number 42. Entry number 42 of list 3, concurrent list. Union list, union is having some power, state is having power, concurrent means both. Sir, here what, sir, UP government said that as per the our government state act, we are acquiring this Sugars Limited. This limited said that no, you are not having that possible. Why? Because it's a controlled by Industrial Dispute Act 1951. So there is a conflict between these two acts, sir. This act says that government has a power to acquire. This act says that government is not having union is having a power to acquire that. Then court held that court give a decision. court give a decision. What's that? What the court gives as decision as the state is having a power as per entry number 42 of list 3. The power of acquisition is not occupied by the industries. Separate power under. So industries, this is a power given as per the court. So like that, there is a dispute between the two acts. Then at that point of situation, what's a court held that so special act is there, general act is there. You can give a privilege to the special act. Then what's a here industrial dispute act. Then in this acquisition of sugar limited act, special act is there. No, this is a general act. It is a special act. This for all industries. This for sugar industries. Then special act and general act is there. You can give a privilege to what's a special act. Then state has a power. The power as per the entry number 42 of union list means concurrent list as per the constitution. No problem that state can acquire. Clear, sir? It can acquire. So, like the conflict between the two or more acts, the special act giving privilege, a conflict between the two or more provisions, then it should give an effect to all the provisions that is decided by the court of law. This is nothing but harmonious construction. Clear? Next, sir. Next. The rule of golden rule of interpretation. Golden rule of interpretation. So this rule is also good, all as this rule is also a beneficial construction. So what is the golden rule of interpretation? This is a beneficial construction. Okay, so what is a beneficial construction? Golden rule of interpretation, modifying rule of interpretation, and also it is also called as a British rule. What is that, sir? So you know about literal interpretation, literal rule. What is a literal rule clearly says that? What is a literal rule clearly says that, sir? Tell me. So the words used in the enactment, used in law, in statute, okay, sir. Those are can be interpreted as per natural meaning, literal meaning, or ordinary meaning. Whenever the words are having single meaning, there is no ambiguity in the meaning, there is a clear meaning, then only you can apply literal interpretation. That is what we have studied under literal interpretation. Whenever the words are used in the statute having clear meaning, definite meaning, and that means an ambiguous meaning, then at that point of situation you can apply literal meaning, the meaning, or you can apply natural, it means natural, popular, grammatical meaning you can apply, and you can interpret the word. So whenever you are intervention, if not, why? Because the word is having two or more meanings. So we can interpretation, there is nothing but there is absurdity, means there is ambiguity, there is an inconvenience, there is a hardship, there is an injustice. Whenever you can interpret the words, there is an observes, means ambiguity, inconvenience, hardships, or injustice. Then at that point of situation, court can modify. Then court can modify the meaning. So we are obtaining the meaning, sir. We are obtaining the meaning, same single meaning is there in the means dictionary. There only one meaning is there. We are applying that one meaning, that particular statute. That one meaning is not giving proper result. The one meaning is ambiguity. The one meaning is inconsistent, injustice, or in hardships. To prevent such consequences, to remove such observes the ambiguity, to remove such inconvenience, to remove such hardships or injustice, then what happens, sir? Then court will give a definition, redefine. There is a give redefinition, there give a definition. What is that? What is a beautiful case law? So how you can understand simple things, sir? First of all, you can apply literal meaning. You are obtaining the literal meaning. Literal meaning may you are obtaining the meaning is inconsistent, injustice, it's an injury to a person, it's ambiguity. So I say situation may the court redefine that meaning. So how that redefine that meaning? So what is the basic situation, the golden rule of interpretation? Simple things, simple things. Best example for that, one of the case law, sir. What is that? Lee versus Knapp. Simple, sir. What traffic act? Road Traffic Act. Traffic Act 1960. What Road Traffic Act 1960 clearly says that? What is that? This clearly mention the word. What is the Road Traffic Act? Means whenever any person, okay, so any person, in case of accident, done with an accident, at that points of situation, he can stop, duty to stop, and he can provide all information, particulars. Accident is made by a party. At that point of situation, the person stop that and he can provide all information to the person. Okay, sir. Then what happened in this particular case? What happened in this particular case? A car was parked in front of house. Okay, so in front of house. Then what happens? Sir, B hit the car. B stopped the car and then moved on. Later on, B sent his manager to provide information to him. So in this scenario, what happens, sir? A approach A's car is parked. A is went to the court, file a case against B. Sir, he met with an accident, but he cannot provide information to me, sir. Later on, he sent B for the information. So what happened according to this Traffic Rules and Regulation Act? What clearly says that whenever you can met with an accident, you can stop the car and you can provide the information. Sir, no problem, sir. I met with an accident. I can stop the car. The person is not there in that. Then I can went out. I can move on. Later on, I can send my manager to that particular place and provide the information. So here stop का मतलब क्या है, sir? Just you can stop and move on. Stop in the sense you can stop the vehicle for reasonable time. Just to stop and a stop, just you cannot move, sir. A reasonable time. Who will give this rule, sir? The court will get that. The court will. So stop in the sense, stop ordinary meaning. You can stop and you can move, and not like that. Stop in the sense for a reasonable time you can stop. For reasonable time you can stop. Like that, the beneficial construction. So one more situation, sir. One more situation. What happened? What happened? One of the case law, Bedford versus Bedford. What is Bedford versus Bedford? Here, sir, son is there. Son murder the mother. Later on, son also suicide. Son mother ne murder jesa. So later on, son also suicide. So according to the administration of Estate Act 1925. According to the administration of Estate Act 1925, in that particular situation, section 46 is there. What is section 46? After death of a people, then the property of deceased person, the property of the property, okay, so the property property can be transferred to whom? So what happens when the son murder the mother, then after the son also suicide, then who will get the mother property? Who will get mother property now? Either mother's relatives or son's relatives, son's dependents. Who will get the property? So mother relatives can get the property or son's dependent they can get the property. So what this act clearly says that administration of estate of 1925 succession to real and personal estate on income means in case of insistency means successor will get. Okay, so successor, who is a successor? Sir? Then mother murdered son's mother, so mother the mother, then after that he suicide, then this property can transfer to whom, sir? Son dependents or mother relatives for whom this can be transferred. What law clearly says that that can be transferred to the successors. Literal meaning, what is a successor? A successor is nothing but son and son dependents are the successor that can be transferred to the son dependents. But what court held that court gives a decision. No, it is not son's decision. Son's dependent. Why? Because son murder the mother for what purpose? For property purpose. The property can be enjoyed by the who's a son's dependent. That is the reason why in this scenario the property cannot move to the son's decessors. Property can move to the mother relatives. Court will decide. Why? Because sir, the literal meaning is injustice, sir. It is an injustice. This rule is an injustice. Why? Because son murdered the mother again for what purpose? For property purpose. The property can transfer to son dependents. Again, you are giving like there is an injustice or not. For the purpose of property, only son murdered the son. Son murdered the mother. That is the reason why law they can inconsistent. There is an injustice. Law can give a decision. What the law can give a decision? Yes. These son murdered the mother for the property, then property cannot transfer to the son's dependent, the property can transfer to the mother relatives. Like there is a golden rule of interpretation. This is a golden rule, sir. This ambiguity, injustice is there, then court redefine it. That is nothing but golden rule of interpretation. What is a rule of reasonable construction? This golden rule of interpretation. The rule states that exclusive reliance on dictionary meaning, literal meaning, may not indicate proper intention of the legislature. Sometimes literal meaning gives absurd, inconsistent result, injustice result. The statute should be construed as a give a sensible meaning, redefine the law, redefining in that. Just examples. The word coal, generally understood the term coal means coal used in the fuel as per Sales Tax Act. Coal can be product, coal can control. Okay, so coal ante general man emanuntam sir. This is a fuel, but Sales Tax Act coal is considered as a mineral product context of Polar Control Order. Best example, these are the two famous case laws. Like these are the four primary rules. These are the four primary rules, sir. You have to understood the primary rules. Very, very important manner. There's a four, first of all, rule of literal interpretation. After that, rule of beneficial construction. After that, rule of harmonious construction, rule of reasonable construction. These are the four basic rules of primary rules of interpretation. Literal as it is, there is observed the injustice, they can go for golden rule, and conflict, harmonious, mischief, loophole, they can go for the hidden rule. It's nothing but reasonable construction. Like that, these are the four basic rules of interpretation.